Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do the books and makeup tag. I'm honestly not 100% sure what it's called. I think it's called that, but who knows? I haven't filmed a video in feels like forever, a sit down video. I actually am currently filming a weekly vlog which is turning into a two-week vlog, I guess. A lot of crazy stuff is going on right now in my life, so stay tuned for that. It probably will be the next video right after this. If you know me, you know makeup and books are like two of my favorite things, so this is the perfect tag for me. Before we get into anything else, if you want to see what I'm up to on a day-to-day basis, Instagram and Twitter are the best place to do that. It's just at Kendra Cus on both, just like my YouTube Kendra Cus. And then I do have a bookstagram, Kendra Cus Reads, so if you want to see more bookish content, that's the place to do it. But let's go ahead and get right on into it.
We need to acknowledge the elephant in the room.
Francine, happy birthday. No, I'm just kidding. I have darker hair. I don't know if this lighting is doing it justice. Also, I have my extensions in, so I think it also definitely looks a little different. But I used to have platinum blonde hair. We all know this. This is what it looked like. I do miss the blonde life, but I just looked in the mirror one day and I was like, this is not authentic to me anymore. And I don't know, I just really didn't feel like it was me anymore. With all that being said, I'm sure I'll go back to the light blonde life eventually, but this is like my natural hair color, this dark blonde, light brown, blonde kind of look. My roots are actually darker than they are naturally, but the toner she put on just made them a little darker, and because my hair was so light underneath, it's gonna wash out a lot faster, so we made it darker. But I really wanted to be my natural color. She also toned my extensions, and so they're pretty much the perfect color. They're a little different, but you know, they'll get there. That's all. That's really all. That's all the updates. Let's just go ahead and get on into the makeup. I honestly haven't looked at any of these questions. I know I've watched a bunch of videos. Like, I think Books with Chloe has done it once or twice, and I've watched hers, but I don't remember what the questions are. Get my hair out of my face. I miss using my normal camera for sit down videos, but my mic is broken. One of my cats chewed through the mic wire, and it's $130 to get the new mic, and I'm like, I don't want to do that right now, so I just keep using my vlog camera because it's way easier. Okay, I'm gonna zoom you guys in. Okay, so the first step is primer, and I kind of just do like a concoction of primer. I love this Hollywood Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury. I've been using this for over a year and it's almost all out. And the Tatcha, the Silk Canvas, but I only use this like on my nose, kind of. That's the only place I really need it. Sometimes I use it on my cheeks too, but these days with quarantine and all that, like, I'm not going anywhere, so I don't have to worry about my makeup really lasting all day. Plus I'm dry, not oily, so I don't really need oil control. And then I just take this Charlotte Tilbury. It's kind of like a highlighter or a primer. It's honestly whatever you want it to be. And then I just put it on places I highlight. And then sometimes I use this like as an actual highlighter. And then I just blend it in. The question is, what's a book that's left a lasting impression on you? I probably should have looked at these questions beforehand. Now that I've blended in the product, let me actually think of a book. I'm not very good at doing both. Let's go through the books I read this year and see if it'll help me jog my memory. Obviously there's a lot of books, especially like the books that I loved as a teenager that I'm still obsessed with now, like kind of like Graceling and Fire. I would say those two books are what like turned me into the love of reading. But if we're talking about recent books, I definitely would have to say The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. I read The Raven Boys in April, like the entire series, and then I think in May or June I read The Scorpio Races. And I fell in love. From the moment the book started, I was captivated. I just think it is such a beautiful story. It's a very hard story to read. It gets very deep and dark at times. And Maggie Stiefvater made the setting like super deep and dark. And I just love those two main characters. I think they have amazing personalities. I think they're insanely fleshed out. Like, you feel like you're reading real accounts. And also just the plot and the way the story moves and everything like that. It's just stunning. It's a book I did not think I thought I was gonna like it because I love the Raven Boys. I loved this with all my heart. Let's move on. Okay, so I don't typically use foundation just because I can't be bothered, one, and two, I don't like to cover up my freckles. but I'm going to do the foundation question and the concealer question when doing my concealer. I have been obsessed with this new Rare Beauty concealer, but it's a little too light for me. So I'm gonna also use this xoxx concealer, and I'm just gonna go in. And the question for foundation is favorite first book in a series. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is The Diviners by Libba Bray, even though I didn't finish the series, mainly because the first book is by far the best, even though I read the second and I was so disappointed that I didn't continue on with the series, which is funny because the first book became a favorite book of all time, and I'm like, what happened here? Let's like kind of disqualify that answer, and let's do a entire series I've read. I usually don't love first books in the series. I mean, not to be predictable, but I think I'm gonna have to go with The Raven Boys. I was completely floored by that book, and I've talked about that enough on my channel that I honestly don't feel like I need to get into it too much. Like, people that watch my videos consistently know how much I'm obsessed with The Raven Boys and how much I obsessed over it back then. But I truly think it's like one of my favorite first books in the series, because a lot of times I tend to not love first books in a series. Honestly, I'm just really picky. Like with Throne of Glass, I love that series, one of my favorite. But I think the first book kind of annoys me sometimes, or most of the time, honestly. And then same with ACOTAR, the first book I don't love. And same with Caraval, which is one of my favorite series of all times. The first book I gave like a 4-star, and the other books were 5 stars for me, which is so crazy to think about. And then the question for concealer is name a character you wish didn't exist. And I honestly don't know. I'm trying to like look at my books. I have a bookcase behind here with most of my books, and then I have my little bookcase over here. I mean, as much as I didn't love the series, it still affected me, and I'd probably have to say Mal from Shadow and Bone. I, first of all, don't love that series, so I guess whatever, but I can't really think of anyone else because I feel like even like the annoying characters are really important to the story, so I don't really think about that too much. But the first thing that comes to mind, and like the only thing that makes sense to me, is Mal from Shadow and Bone. I guess we'll see how they paint him in the Netflix series. I'm really curious to see how I feel about him. I think I'm still gonna hate him based off of the fact that I just hate him in general, but we'll see. Okay, so the next step is powder, which I honestly don't use most of the time, but I'm gonna use it today. And the question is your favorite last book in a series. And you know what? I don't know if it's because we always have like the highest expectations, especially for a series that we love. But I really liked Queen of Nothing. I do think it needed to be longer, but I really liked Queen of Nothing. And then the other book that comes to mind is Finale from the Caraval series. I know a lot of people didn't love that, but I loved the way Legendary and Finale went. I do think Legendary is better than Finale, but I loved Finale, and that's that on that. Can't really think of anything else. I'm like I said, I'm trying to look at my bookcase, and yeah, I think that's definitely gonna have to be my answer. And you know me, like if I be choosing 2 books per prompt, like you're just gonna have to deal with that because that's what I do. Okay, so the next step is bronzer, and I'm gonna use this xoxx bronzer in the shade Light. And the question here is pick the perfect summer read, and honestly, I kind of don't know. Like, I don't really read based off of like seasons. I probably would say like a romance book, and I probably would say like the Danny Brown, Chloe Brown series by Talia Hibbert. Those are great books. I loved those. Especially Take a Hint, Danny Brown. I liked that even more, and I didn't know that I could like that more because I loved Chloe Brown so much. The next step would be contour, which I'm not doing, and the question is what book surprised you with how much depth was in it? And that's a great question. So I'd kind of have to say either The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater or Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. And I don't want to talk too much about these because you guys have heard me talk about these a lot on my channel because I've not been quiet about how much I love them. But Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore I thought was just gonna be a really fun historical romance, and it turned out to be like one of the most heart-wrenching things I've ever read, if not the most heart-wrenching thing, mainly because I feel like Evie Dunmore did such a good job of making my heart just literally beat for the main character as well as our hero in the story, like the love interest. I felt their emotions so deeply inside of me. There were so many times I cried in that book because I felt like I just felt like I was in that story. And then the Scorpio Races, I did not expect to get that deep and dark. It's very emotional. It's very like kind of heart-wrenching as well. I felt things very deeply while reading that as well, and I kind of discussed that earlier on in this video, so I don't want to get too much into it, but chef's kiss, perfect. Also, I'm just very predictable because I'm very passionate about the things I love. So this comes as no shock to the people here. Okay, so the next step is blush. I'm using this Patrick Ta blush in the shade She's So LA. These blushes are so cool. They have a cream and powder mixture. You're supposed to put the powder down first and then the cream on top, which sounds so weird, but it works perfectly and it makes it look glowy. And the question is, for this one, pick a book that has a cringeworthy romance. And like, I don't know, because honestly, romance is so important to me that if it's not a good romance in a book, then I kind of just like tune it out, or I just make myself forget about it. So let's think. Also, I like just tend to give away the books that I don't love the romance in. Like I said, the romance is really important to me. You know, I actually think I have one answer, and it would be, I forget their characters. Is her name Nina or something like that? From The Worst Best Man. I don't think their romance is cringy per se. I think it was the smut scenes that were kind of cringy to me, because I didn't really love the things that Max, I know the guy's name is Max, would say during the smut scenes. I was like, ooh, that would definitely take me out of the moment if I were the one in the middle of that with him. But I don't think their romance is cringy. As far as a cringy romance per se, I would probably just say Harry Potter. I do not like Ron and Hermione. It kind of makes me cringe, but not so much as Harry and Ginny. That makes me cringe big time. And I know it develops more in the book, because obviously I've read it and stuff, but I still just, I don't love it. I think a lot of that has to do with bad story planning on She Who Must Not Be Named's part. Yeah, that's that on that. So the next step is highlighter. I'm using this RMS Beauty Living Luminizer Glow Quad. And the question is, pick a book that brightens your day. I don't know. I mean, what just made me endlessly happy? Like, and didn't make me sad? I like sad books too much. You know what really brightened my day? It's very emotional, but it was really feel good at the end. Was This Is How You Lose the Time War. I loved the romance in that. Oh my gosh, there was so much yearning and pining. So yeah, it kind of did like make me emo and not like, sometimes not always so happy. But for the most part, I was so happy while reading that. Like, honestly, I had tabbed it so much. And then I would probably have to say the Get a Life Chloe Brown, Take a Hint Danny Brown series. I mean, I don't know how anyone could read that and not be obsessed and filled with so much love in their heart. I mean, it does get deep at times, but you know, for the most part, it's a really good romance where the third act doesn't like, it's not as, you know how a lot of romances suffer with that third act really stupid plot point. These two books don't have them, and I love them to pieces. Okay, next step is brows, and today I'm going to be using the Glossier Brow Flick just to fill in some brow hairs, and then this newer product from Patrick Ta, which is called the Shaping Wax, which is supposed to like mimic laminated brows, and girl, it does that. And the question is, pick a book that you think everyone should read. So I just kind of did one brow. I didn't want to talk while doing it. I think my book pick would probably be A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. I don't know why, but well, I do know why, but I don't know why it stands out more than anything else. The movie and the book are like really important to me, which is interesting because I've never really had anyone personally super close to me, like within my immediate family, pass away early because of an illness like cancer or something like that.
The key word in that phrase is early. I have had grandparents and grandparents on my husband's side pass away from cancer, but what I meant was like early in their life, or like an experience like that. So I have obviously dealt with a lot of grief in my life, just not in the same way as this book.
But I watched the movie before I read the book, and I saw the movie like when it came out. Like, I saw it in theaters. I actually saw it twice in theaters, and it made me sob like a baby both times. In fact, I think the second time around I cried more because I knew it was coming. That's how it was with Avengers too, by the way. Actually, I cried the first time like a lot too. But the book just is so beautiful, and the movie is so beautiful, and it's one of the only movies I've watched like it follows the book almost perfectly. There's a couple of liberties they take, but for the most part it is literally the book is the script for the movie, which I think is really beautiful because it was a very personal story, like the origin of it and everything like that. This brow's a little bit thicker than this brow, but catch me caring. Right now I don't. I love this book so much. Also, I think it's something a middle grade reader can read. It's something an elementary school reader can read with their parent or guardian or something. And it's just, it's so beautiful. I think it's really important because it's about an 11-year-old boy that is trying to figure out how to deal with his grief. And not only is it the most artistic, beautiful way of doing that, but it also really, really highlights the fact that like, you're not okay and it's okay not to be okay. You don't and you shouldn't pretend like you're okay. Like, you go through these things and you have to experience them, you have to feel them. Anyways, I love that book so much. The book made me cry, the movie made me cry. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend. It takes you like 2 hours to read at the most. And if you haven't seen the movie, you have to watch the movie, okay? And that's orders from Kendra. If you're curious about this product though, you do have to wet it with a setting spray. And you just dig your spoolie in it, brush the product through your brows. Sometimes I brush my brows down to get extra product on them and then brush them back up. And then the whole point of this is to make your brows look laminated. So then you can take either side of the brush. I like to take kind of the like brush itself, like the handle, and smooth the brows on. And then Patrick Toss is like, you can perfect the shape and then smooth it down again. But if you like really, really thick, fluffy brows, this isn't really it. This is more if you want like the laminated brow look. Okay, so I just primed my eyes for eyeshadow, and the next question is pick a book with your favorite colors on it. My favorite colors are like black and green, but I really love the combination of black and red, especially on book. And that's a good question. I do love the cover of the Gilded Wolves. I wish it was like a darker green, but that cover is stunning. I love the covers of Wicked Saints and Ruthless Gods, but like the Owl Crate versions, because they're black rather than like white with background. I love those. Those are stunning. The Owl Crate exclusive of Finale, it's got the black and red. I don't know, I'm really, really picky. Like, I can think a book cover is pretty, but I don't know if I found like a favorite book cover, like, to be honest. I'm really picky with that. Okay, so let's move on to eyeshadow. I'm just gonna do something super simple, so I'm not really gonna worry too much. I'm gonna use this Naked Petite Heat palette by Urban Decay. This is like an oldie on my channel. If you've been around my channel, like when I used to do makeup more, you would know. But I'm just gonna take this shade called Hot Spell, which is this like middle warm brown shade, and I'm just gonna throw this into the crease. Okay, and then just to deepen things up a little bit, I'm gonna take a mixture of Heist and Hot Spell and just throw that right into the crease. I don't want to use too much though, because I don't want this to go too dark. Also, it's like, I rarely put makeup on these days because of COVID, and also because I go to the gym every day and I sweat so much in Orange Theory. It's like, what's the point? And to make things a little more fun, I'm going to take this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Pledge Class, not Glass, Class. And it's this really stunning like bronzy gold. I'm really here for that, and I never get to do fun things with my eyeshadow anymore. So I'm excited. This color's stunning. I'm gonna pat it on the lid. Oh my gosh, this is such a stunning color, especially with these colors in the crease. I'm definitely gonna need to film 2 more videos today before I go work out in order for all this makeup to get a good use. That shade is so pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna set my face. I don't think there's a question for this, and if there is, I'm an idiot, but I'm gonna just set my face really fast. All right, and the next step is mascara. Listen, if you can see my tracks, I don't wanna hear it. Guess who cares? Not me. Okay, so for mascara, I'm going to use the Glossier Brow Flick, the Glossier Lash Slick. This is the only mascara I found in the last couple of years that doesn't flake on me or transfer, which is so funny because I do not have oily skin. I have very dry skin, but for some reason my mascara always flakes, no matter if it's new or old. Like every single mascara I've tried, like 10, and this is the only one that doesn't do that. It's not very volumizing, so sometimes if I'm doing like a va-va-voom lash look, then I add another mascara on top of it, but this is it. And the question is, pick a long book. And actually, I think the book I'm gonna have to choose is new to me. Let me do my one eye and then I'll answer this question. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do both eyes and then I'll answer this question. I'm gonna have to replace what it's sitting on because it is being used as my tripod today because I couldn't find my actual tripod. Now we're a little lopsided, but you know what? There we go, that's better. Will that last? But will it last? That's from a Christmas movie. Oh my gosh, okay. So the book I'm gonna choose for this prompt is from Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I know this isn't like crazy long. This is like 640 pages or something like that, but I genuinely get turned off by long books. I don't care to pick them up if they're too long and if I know I'm not gonna like them. But this I read in 24 hours. I was obsessed with this. This is so good. This is a page turner. I had to know what was going on. The romance is amazing. The smut scenes are amazing. I loved this book so much. Look at all those tabs. Look at all those tabs. This is my long book pick, okay? Okay, so the next step is lips, and I've used this combination so many times on my channel. It's nothing new. This is the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade Bossy and the Kylie Cosmetics Matte Bullet Lipstick in the shade Boss. This is like my favorite red, and I've actually been excited to wear a red lip with my new hair because I think it will look really good. So I'm really excited today because of quarantine. I'm a lipstick gal, and because of quarantine and masks, I haven't worn lipstick in forever, and I'm about to eat lunch after this, so I'm about to take it right off, whatever. So the question is your favorite book kiss. And I don't know, this is gonna be hard because I don't feel like I remember everything like a lot. But I am a big romance gal. Like, it's very important to me, the romance in a book, and I prefer most or all of my books to have romance. And I would say that one of them for sure has to be in, I can't remember if it's Legendary or Finale, but it is in the Carnival series, and it's when, how do I say this without giving away spoilers? It's when Tella and Legend kiss, like on the fountain scene. And then also there's a kiss in a bed scene, and I think that's actually in Finale. I think the fountain scene might be Legendary, and then the bed scene might be Finale. I lost my shiz during those scenes. I'm not gonna lie, I really did. I really lost it. Oh, bringing down the Duke's first kiss scene, sexy as hell, and also very much yearned after, so it felt so amazing. And I can't really think of any other ones off the top of my head right now. I was really excited for Blue and Gainsy's first kiss, and I don't think it was bad. I just don't think it was as great as it could have been. That's fine. But I'm gonna go in with my lips now. I wanted to add one more thing. You guys know I also love the Six of Crows series. And I wanna say there is a beautiful, I look so crazy with my lips, an incredible kiss scene in Crooked Kingdom, and it just feels like it's such a long time coming. I don't wanna give away spoilers if you haven't read it, but it's so beautiful. It's one of my favorite scenes in any book ever, but I'm not gonna say much more because I don't wanna spoil anything. You know, I just realized there might be a question for eyeliner, but I don't use eyeliner ever. And so I don't know, and I couldn't find the question. So if there is a question for eyeliner, I'm just gonna have to leave you all on that cliffhanger because I don't know, and I probably won't ever know, and I won't answer it. Okay guys, so that is all for this book and books and makeup tag. Is that what it's called? I think it's called books and makeup tag. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please let me know by giving this a thumbs up, and also don't forget to comment down below if you share any of the same feelings with me, if you love these books like I do, or maybe what your answers would be to some of these questions. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go though. Have a great morning, noon, evening, day, night, whenever it happens to be that you're watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.